There's been a lot of change at Dundalk since the cup final was held in early December last year. And one of the biggest changes that has come in has been the introduction of a new sporting director there in the shape of Jim Magilton, and he joins us now. Jim, you're very welcome to the programme.
Thank you, Breifne. Looking forward to hearing what you have to say to me.
Well, I think we're more interested in hearing what you might have to say to us. Tell us a little bit about why you've come into the league and why Dundalk was such an attractive proposition for you at this time in your career.
I think it was just the challenge working at the IFA. I completed that. My thoughts when I entered the IFA 7 years ago was to try and build a pathway, create a pathway for the best young players in Northern Ireland. And my thoughts then, alongside Michael O'Neill, was, we needed a full-time academy. And 7 years down the line, we managed to achieve that with UEFA, through the fantastic people that were working there. And I kind of way I'd reached the end, and it just felt that way. And I've been kind of way looking to get back into the game in some capacity. And I'd had numerous conversations with Bill Holsizer and the board of directors. And I liked the thought of entering into a professional club in Ireland, Dundalk, having had great success over many, many years. And it just seemed the next logical step for me. And it really enthused me. It really motivated me. And I was ready for a new challenge. Simple as that.
Yeah, it's been great to see someone of your caliber come in. I suppose, obviously, managing in the Championship in England with Ipswich over many, many years. Your playing career obviously needs no introduction to most football fans on the island. You've been with Shamrock Rovers before. You know the league. What's been the big difference between the league in, say, 2011 when you were with Shamrock Rovers and now?
It's hard. It's really hard to tell, to be honest. I find that out as the season progresses and the quality of the opposition. What I do think has changed is obviously how competitive the Irish clubs have been in Europe. I think when I look at it, I look at the quality of player, I look at the quality of the squad, and I see that over 4 or 5 teams. In my time with Michael, it was still a very competitive league, but the expectations at Shamrock Rovers was to win the league. Michael won back-to-back titles. The next logical step for us was to try and be more competitive in Europe. And we gained great success with a really good group of players. And I still get that feeling. I get that feeling now with this group. I like the feel in the group. I like the quality in the group. We've added to the squad. And I just get the impression that these lads they loved, obviously, any player. And I'll tell you, any player that gets the opportunity to play in Europe. And that happened late in my career in terms of club football. But any player who has aspirations to play at the highest levels wants to be competitive in Europe. So for a club like Dundalk to have that sort of success, phenomenal success, to get to 2 group stages is huge. So again, it's this mentality of a European club in Ireland. And there are classic examples out there. You only have to look at Mulder, for example, and Rosenborg and other real examples where they've been competitive every year. So you have to acknowledge the fact that Shamrock Rovers had a fantastic season last year and they've thrown down the gauntlet. So it's up to all the other clubs now in the League of Ireland to be ready for that challenge moving forward.
And Jim, you spoke there about you obviously want to be challenging for Europe. I've always said it that we do need a mix of players and coming in from international to be internationally recognised. Was that behind your thoughts of getting so many various international players in?
Yeah, it was, Alan. And again, listen, good players, good players are good players. You go after them. And if the market's strong, you have to be competitive in that. I have to say the due diligence carried out in our transfer window was very strong. We had individual conversations. We kind of had to lay it out bare to players that it's a tough league. If you underestimate this league, it will be at your peril and it'll come back to bite you. So we looked at the attitude and just the basic conversations we had with these players. And we identified strengths that, one, they're going to come in and enhance, hopefully, the league and make the league better. and as a result, then make us more competitive in Europe. Again, competition in squad, as you know, is crucial if you're going to be competing at domestic and European levels. You need a strong squad. So we've added that. We lost good players, but we've added to that, and hopefully, the next stage for us is to keep recruiting. Very strong emphasis on the academy now, Alan. We brought Stevie McDonald in. We've Randall Kane's emerged pre-season, Val's emerged pre-season with one or two young players. And the strength of a club, I always believe, is the foundations laid out in your academy, and we're very strong in that. In fact, today we had a very productive meeting talking about that.
Yeah, because I would say, speaking from my time there in 2016, the academy, I was shocked at how successful Dundalk were, but yet there was nothing coming through. As in the academy, it was really a mess. Like, and I had come from, say, Sligo, where they were just starting out a good structure. And you've mentioned Stevie there. Stevie McDonald, I've done my badges with him. Top quality. He's done really well with Warren at the time. And is he now over the running of the academy setup, and how young have you gone?
So Stevie McDonald's in. He's academy manager. Said we had a really productive meeting with all the staff. If you're going to build a club, you have to understand how we want to play, the way we want to play, the profile of the player we want at the football club. And that starts off. The good thing about it, as you quite rightly says, it's a blank canvas. And from a blank canvas, you can create your own pathway. So we're going 10 to 13. We obviously need the help of the clubs and the leagues within Dundalk. Dundalk have always produced top class players. So we're looking 10 to 13 program, and then obviously that 14 to 19 now. And we're looking at the quality of coaches, where they are in their coaching badges. Can we help them develop as coaches? And again, my background for the last 7 years has been about creating pathways for young players. Filippo comes from a similar background alongside Giuseppe. Stevie Mack has done terrific jobs at Warren Point. I brought him into the academy up at Jordanstown. So I know what he's going to deliver. And the good thing about Stevie McDonald, Alan, is that you won't have to stand over him. I think we're all on the same page in terms of how we want to develop and the style of play we want to create.
I definitely agree. He loves the game. He's enthusiastic, and he's always looking to improve as well. I thought I was really impressed with him when I was doing my badges. He was the knowledge he has and stuff, and I know he had to finish his career fairly young. And I think that's he's just gone from strength to strength since, and I think he's a great lad there.
I have a question for you, Jim, and just in relation to the kind of movements around the club, because obviously over the last maybe 6 to 8 months, we've seen a lot of ins and outs on the pitch, in the dugout, in the boardroom even. And I suppose a lot of fans looking at this might be looking for kind of some sort of indication of a bit more stability in the club. Where is the club at the moment in terms of having that kind of stable base to build on for the future?
Yeah, listen, people come and go at football clubs. People come and go at football. That's the nature of the game we're in. And people have left the club. So we're now in the process of recruiting the right sort of people we want in the club. This club was being built on success. Alan was there, so he knows exactly what that feels like, and the people within the club. And you look at the fantastic success they've had over the last 6, 7, 8 years when Stephen was there. So we want to build on that. You can't forget about that, because it's a really proud tradition they have. And to build on that, it's important to get the right sort of personnel into the club. As you know, Breifne, you and I have had serious conversations around this. So we're recruiting, we're interviewing. We want to make sure that stability is 100% the correct word for this. We want to make sure that the people we bring in will be there for many years to come. And again, it's just about the quality. We want my ideal of management. Is this authentic leadership type where I don't want to stand over Alan Keane telling him how to do his job, or Breifne Earley you're going to be hired and appointed because you're better at your job than I am. That's your area of expertise. I'm just there to manage you and make sure that you've got all the support you need to deliver. And then it's up to us as a group. Off the park, we streamed the game on Saturday, and it was really successful. And we did and Paddy Casey and Gavin McLaughlin and Aaron Lawless and Stephanie Roach. Everybody did a fantastic job. And that's just the start for us. We just want to, again, be as successful off the park as we are on it. And it's very difficult. Of course, there are extreme circumstances we are all living in and dealing with. So we're going to try our best.
Yeah, I did watch the stream, like Friday or Saturday, I can't remember.
Friday, yeah.
I watched the stream, and really it was head and shoulders above anything in a streaming capacity that's been done by any of the clubs in the league. It really does kind of move that bar up in terms of the pre-match, the post-match, all that sort of stuff was just really, really on the money. And if that's a sign of, I suppose, where the club is going, it's a good sign. I suppose we have to also ask you a few other questions about that we're going to get asked if we don't ask in terms of, like, what's the plans for the ground? Are there any plans for the ground? Can you give us any information on that?
Not really, not at the moment. We are looking at areas within Oriel Park that we want to develop. And I think if we can get that over the line, then the match day experience will improve dramatically. There are opportunities for us then to encourage sponsorship, to encourage people. And if we get people in, and fingers crossed that we do, to really enjoy that experience. If you're winning football matches and you're successful as Dundalk has been, then our job off the field is to create the right sort of atmosphere to encourage not only families, but all aspects of the football crowd that make up the football crowds that I have been particularly used to at, for example, an Ipswich Town and a Southampton or Sheffield Wednesday or wherever I've been, and to try and bring that sort of enjoyment in. And I have to be honest, there are good people now who are looking at that and looking very closely at that. And as I say, we're looking to develop that. As soon as we get the thumbs up from government, then hopefully we'll be ready to rock and roll.
And Jim, we spoke earlier about the loss of players, and of course, like we all know, as you said, players move on and that. Did you come in at a time when the players basically nearly had their minds made up, and unfortunately it was that bit too late? Like, you look at likes of Sean Gannon has been there years, successful, great lad, one of the best right backs in the league.
Yeah.
Sean Hoare, who had a successful spell, and I think you did well to keep it. To be honest, I thought Michael Duffy might have been gone, but I knew your maybe connection and stuff with him, he'd have a good chance. I think that was crucial. Who else you had? Well, Gary Rogers, obviously.
John
Mountney left. Massey left.
Yeah.
So, if you look, Alan, you've been around them lads in that core group who have been massively successful. That's a massive loss. They're huge losses for any football club. But the job, the basic answer is, with one or two we tried, but again, football being the way it is, obviously there was different things going on, and they made their choices, and good luck to them. When I came in, the job was then to recruit players, and it's very difficult when you say similar or better. When you look at the successes and the careers that these guys have had at successive clubs, but especially Dundalk, that's always difficult to replace. What we have hopefully have done is gone out into the market, identified the right player, and then it's over to them. Again, when you cross the white line, it's definitely down to you. No matter how much we as managers or coaches get stick, the responsibility rests with players, and we think we've recruited well, but again, it'll be down to them and how they deliver.
In terms, Jim, of the gap that exists at the moment based on last year's league table between yourselves and Bows in second, and the bigger gap again to Rovers, can Dundalk bridge that this year? Is that realistic in terms of getting back to that level?
We hope so. We're putting together a squad that we want to be competitive. As I say, Shamrock Rovers again have recruited well. They've lost good players, and it's the same. Any football club across the globe, you're trying your very best. I think we'll be competitive. I think we will be challenging. I do believe that consistency was a factor last year, highs and lows. We can take the COVID situation into consideration. We can take the European exertions into consideration. But the cup final was a marker. The players responded. Shamrock Rovers played very well in the day. But I think that was a marker, not only for Dundalk, but the other clubs that, we will be competitive. I'm sure Bows, Pats, other clubs will have a say in what goes on this year. We're trying to deal with our business. As I say, we are got a squad together that we're happy with. I think we still need 1 or 2 additions, and we're still looking for that. But I'm happy with where we are. More importantly, the manager, the coaching staff, the technical team around us. Basically, we're all looking forward to it. And pre-season, I'll tell you, I've been in pre-season and won every game and had a stinker of a start. Oh my goodness, where you couldn't buy a win. And the reverse of that is awful pre-season and then hit the ground running. And momentum in football is huge. Yeah. And you build that momentum and you go on these winning streaks. So we're looking to build momentum right from the off.
I suppose finally, I have one question. Alan might have another one or two, but in terms of the expectations on you for the next 12, 24, 36 months, you've come into a role. It's not really that common in the country at the moment in the league. It's kind of a new role.
Yeah.
What do you want to be judged on over the next 2 to 3 years? Like, are we looking at results on the pitch? Are we looking at players progressing through the academy, financial reports? What's your focus in terms of your performance over the next 2 to 3 years?
All of what you've just said, Breifne, so of course, results, of course, recruitment, of course, building a supply line to our first team, creating that pathway, having an identity, Dundalk producing fine young players. Financials are massive, given the restrictions, given the huge efforts that's going to be needed in order to, really gather momentum in terms of sponsorship for the club. That, given the present circumstances the world is in, that's a huge challenge for every football club, not only in the League of Ireland, but across the globe. So, yeah, probably the longevity of the game for me, being in the game so long, is that the one thing I always had was enthusiasm and a desire to get better. And if I didn't know something, I'd go and ask. Like I asked you, Breifne, so, and I've, so I'm always learning, and I'm always prepared to learn, and I'm always prepared to pick up the phone and ask questions. I went in as an elite performance director in the IFA 7 years ago, and I hadn't a clue what that meant. I had no idea. It was, head of coach education. Oh, great. Well, I had a fantastic mentor and manager in Nigel Best, who showed me the ropes. And then to create a pathway for young players in Northern Ireland was very simple. Increase contact time and work with the clubs. Increase the contact time to a position where the same boys in professional clubs in mainland Britain were getting 3-4 times more than the boys on this island. And the one thing that we do have is enthusiasm, desire, all the buzzwords that are linked to any major sport, but especially our kids' application and attitude to the game is top class. They just need direction. They just need an environment, a challenging environment. So what we're going to do is create a challenging environment for everybody. The off the field staff have to be challenged, because quite right in what you said in terms of it's difficult out there, but so what? It's difficult for everyone. No excuses. We just got to go and find the right people to come in and invest in the football club. We've fantastic investors in place already, and also to be competitive on the pitch. The core group of players, the Shields, the Hobins, the McElhennys, the Duffys, the Garlands, the Boyles, the Clearys are still there. They know how to win games. So their pride would have been hurt. And Al's been in that dressing room, so he'll tell you, pride's a massive thing in football too. The pride would have been dented. To finish 20 points behind Shamrock Rovers is not good. It's not good. But that, you have to accept it, and you got to move on. You got to roll your sleeves up, and you got to apply yourself, and you got to hit the ground running. If you hit the ground running, then you give yourself every opportunity to be competitive.
I think we'll probably end up leaving it there. That pretty much sums everything up. Jim, absolute gentleman, thank you so much for having the taking the time to have a chat with us. It's been a pleasure.
Alan, thank you very much.
Cheers, Jim.
All the very best, lads. Take care. Bye now.
Cheers. Good luck for the season.
Thanks, mate. All the best.